Oh, hey, how you guys doing? Okay. So March is Women's History Month, and normally what I've actually been doing is resting and pampering myself, as one should. However, today is too important of a day to just chill. I want to talk to you about one of the baddest women in history who seriously won. Known as the Moses of her people, this incredible political activist as well as abolitionist led dozens, if not hundreds of slaves to their freedom via the Underground Railroad. And during the Civil War, our girl was a spy. And she also participated in the women's suffrage movement. I have the esteemed honor and privilege of presenting to you Miss Harriet Tubman. Born somewhere in the 1820s, Harriet Tubman was actually born Araminta Ross. She would later become known as Minty, but would change her name to Harriet to honor her mother later down the road. Tubman was the name she took after she got married. From a young age, Harriet believed in justice, and it's actually this belief that led to a pretty serious head injury when she was struck in the head by a metal weight by a master who was throwing that weight at a slave. She developed narcolepsy as well as vivid dreams and hallucinations that she accounted to her religious identity as divine premonition. In the 1840s, Harriet found out that her previous master had actually freed her and her family, but her new master was not going to honor this will. It was when she found out that her brothers were going to be sold off that she decided it was time to leave. On September 17, 1849, Harriet and her two brothers began the trek along the Underground Railroad to freedom. Both her brothers turned back, but Harriet completed the nearly 90-mile journey to Pennsylvania. She was able to find work in the North, but she found she really couldn't enjoy freedom knowing that her family was still in bondage. So she traveled back down to the South to free her nieces. She did try to bring her husband John, but he'd already remarried and was trying to stay in Maryland and live his life. So she continued on with her mission. In 1850, the Fugitive Slave Act was passed, allowing any freed or fugitive slave to be re-enslaved. So she took the Underground Railroad and actually went further north into Canada. Given the very dangerous nature of these missions, Moses was absolutely not playing around. She was known to regularly sedate children as well as babies to prevent them from giving away their position, and she was known to also bring a pew-pew along with her during the missions to prevent anyone from turning back or exposing the routes that they were using. It's unknown specifically how many people she freed, but it is definitely in the dozens, if not hundreds, and among those people were her elderly parents. And when the Civil War broke out, our girl was hired as a nurse, but would later go on to become a spy. She was only 5 foot, but she was absolutely a force to be reckoned with, and although it took several decades, she did get financial compensation and awards from the military. She would go on to work with Susan B. Anthony during the women's suffrage movement and travel the North to speak about these issues. She would later buy land and open a home for aged and indignant people of color. Harriet Tubman passed away on March 10, 1913, which is why today is so important to recount her incredible life and talk about all the ways that she truly led Black Americans to freedom. Her life was commemorated in the movie Harriet, and there has been talk since 2014 about putting her on the $20 bill, but I believe it's still unclear when exactly that's going to happen. So thank you, Ms. Tubman, for your bravery and truly being one of the most pivotal Americans to lead us not only forward, but to freedom.